The Wonderful World of Darklords. Report 17. The McElminster House. I took a moment to get my bearings and explore the flooded, ransacked manor house. The last time I became lost in the mists, it took me to King Haggard's land, a domain that was still of interest to my patron. Perhaps the same would be true here, and if so, the burglary of the house might contain clues. This hope seemed at first to be unfounded. The house no longer contained much of anything, as the bandits had been thorough. However, a quick search of the kitchens revealed more antitoxins than I was accustomed to seeing, and the armoires and dressers contained a tremendous variety of gloves. I was not in some mysterious domain that I had yet to explore. I was in Borca. It was only a matter of time before someone caught me and accused me of the crime. I slipped out of the servants' entrance and emerged on the outskirts of Sturban. Well, I had intended to return home to resupply. I may as well do so here. As I journeyed toward town, however, I caught sight of another house, one that was closer to the main thoroughfare than many of the surrounding mansions. It was a massive edifice of brick, lined with airy windows. Nothing about it was any grander or more mysterious than the other opulent homes for Borca's decadent elite, but gazing at it, I became certain that it was special. With eldritch sight, I could see that it was bursting with arcane energy. This house was a magical treasure trove. I was certain that whatever my patron sought, it was inside. More than that, I would know it the moment I saw it, and I would no longer have to wonder why I had been sent on this errand. My ring of protection went cold on my finger, and this mad conviction left me as suddenly as it had come. I appraised the house with new eyes. I had accepted it immediately as part of the landscape, but it was obvious now that the architecture was not Borcan, nor was it old enough to be this thoroughly established in the heart of town. Perhaps it was some kind of cursed or haunted building, or perhaps I had found another pocket domain. Regardless, I could not leave Sturban until I had investigated it more thoroughly. The Lord. When I inquired about the manor, the people of Sturban were eager to tell tales about the old McElminster place. Some said that it was abandoned and haunted, citing the sounds of music and the strange dancing silhouettes that occasionally appeared in the windows. Others swore that it was still occupied by a mad and mercurial wizard. Many of these had a cousin or old friend or former maidservant who had made a delivery to the McElminster place, only to be taunted and tormented by its owner. Sometimes with frightening illusions, other times with vicious traps. Only the rare, generous payouts from the wizard can induce couriers to return, although, in truth, his tips are more often miserly. Solid facts about this mysterious wizard are difficult to come by, as he is a hermit who has never once been seen outside the house. I was able to steal a journal from the house confirming that his name is Kevin, and that he is the last remaining member of a powerful wizarding family. As my patron will later see, I have my suspicions about what happened to the other McElminsters. My own research confirmed that, while everyone swore the house had been there for as long as they could remember, its provenance was elusive. A trip to the records office showed that not only had no one named McElminster ever lived in Sturban, but the land on which the house sat actually belonged to the Okratier family. If Sunnyside was any indication, I suspected that the McElminster house would vanish in a few days. The people of Sturban would relegate it to rumor and legend, while the people of another town found themselves swearing that the Mad Wizard's manor had always been among them. The land. On its surface, the McElminster house consists of nothing but the house itself and its surrounding grounds. My later investigation of the manor showed that, while it was unlikely to contain anything specific to my patron's goals, my impression of powerful magic had been genuine. Kevin employs constructs and monstrous guardians, potent magical and technological traps, and unseen servants that cater to his every whim. When I made an early attempt to explore the grounds, I glimpsed 3 ghastly silhouettes that seemed plucked directly from my own nightmares. The sight froze my breath in my throat and sent me fleeing. Of course, once I was well beyond the grounds, I knew it for an illusion or a fear spell, but it must have been a powerful one to overcome my ring of protection. Despite the occasional couriers and deliveries, Kevin seems desperately paranoid about his privacy. I say that it seems to contain only the house and its grounds because of some odd rumors I heard during my stay. Apparently, there have been recent sightings of such local terrors as the Sturban Shovel Slayer and the Bird Woman of the Ballinox. When I pressed the tale-tellers for more information, I found odd similarities between these legends and others. The Sturban Shovel Slayer sounded much like the dreaded Silbervis Salt Man or the Brigdarrow Bludgeoner. The Bird Woman, for her part, matched similar tales whispered from Valachan to Harakir. Before my patron begins one of his beloved lectures, yes, I am familiar with Hans Gleam's theory of bogeymen, the fey creatures that are given life by children's stories and fears. However, I suspect that if I were to dig deeply into the folklore of these places, I would find legends of the McElminster house there as well. I believe that if these beings truly are the type of bogeymen that Gleam describes, it is the fear of one particular child that animates them. Dread possibilities. After another failed attempt to penetrate the defenses of the McElminster house, I found a pair of shabby-looking men sitting in a horse cart outside the grounds. They greeted me, and as they asked a series of questions that they surely thought were subtle, it became clear that they were burglars who were sizing up the house to rob it, and that they suspected me of being the same. I sensed in them the same obsession that had briefly gripped me. They were convinced that it contained very fine jewelry, a possible cash hoard, and toys for some reason. No doubt these were the men who had robbed the house that I had arrived in. While I had no illusions that the two were master thieves, they had clearly been staking out the house for some time, and if I wished to learn Kevin McElminster's secrets, it would behoove me to seek assistance even if they provided nothing but an extra target for his spells. I was able to convince them that our chances of breaking into the house were better if we worked together. That evening, we returned to the McElminster house. I refuse to recount the indignities that were heaped upon me in that house. Suffice it to say that, as mentioned, Kevin McElminster specializes in traps. I am certain that my hair will grow back, and in the meantime Borka has excellent wig makers. The precise traps I encountered between entering the house and burning my way out of the giant spider's web are far less important than what I learned about the creator of those traps. As I picked my way around a series of caltrops, I saw that the walls of the house were lined with family portraits. But all the faces had been slashed away, save that of a smirking golden-haired boy. The house's library was filled with spellbooks of breathtaking power, but their pages were sticky with jam and smeared with clotted cream. In the laboratory, which was littered with elaborate clockwork playthings, I found a circle that appeared to contain glyphs for a spell of planar travel, but the lines were smudged. I do not know precisely what would have happened to anyone within that circle, but I do not envy them. Kevin shouted taunts in a child's high and mocking voice with every trap we encountered, but only showed his face in moments when he believed himself to be invincible, such as when I dangled upside down from a snare lined with vicious metal teeth. However many years he had been alone in that house, his face and manner were still those of a boy of 8. And like any bullying child, while his jeers were triumphant, there was terror behind his eyes. And across his entire face once my eldritch blast struck it. Parting thoughts. The McElminster house is the greatest waste of time I have yet experienced on this journey. The manor tempts those who see it with visions of their desires, but offers nothing except pain and humiliation. Kevin himself is a spoiled brat that could put Peter Pan to shame, and given whatever he did to his own family, I wish him every ounce of the terror and misery that lurked behind his mischievous smile. I have enclosed the stolen journal for my patron's edification. My previous frustrations may have been a touch dramatic. Nonetheless, it vexes me that I cannot know which of my efforts are necessary and which are not until after the fact. If my patron wanted so badly for me to attain an interview with a vainglorious fraud like Ernesto de la Cruz, what else might he want that I do not know to deliver? I know that you value your privacy and keep your secrets close, Yensid, but as I entered the mist with my panther-tooth mist talisman, I found myself wishing once again that you would put this subterfuge aside and trust in me. Regards, D.
A sleek black carriage drawn by 2 dark horses emerges from the misty border, blocking Dee's way forward. Seated upon the coach box is a tall, gruff fellow with the appearance of one who will be more comfortable in leathers and furs and a dagger in each hand than the professional suit and tailored traveling cloak he wears. By their side is a young woman with a long mane of dark hair who appears more at ease wearing a similar uniform if it weren't for the unfading, thorough grin she wore. "We're here to escort you to Salem," the gruff fellow explains as the carriage door opens without any assistance. Upon the carriage seat is a small package with a folded-up piece of parchment lying upon it, labeled with an elegant D. The parchment reads, "Should you wish to alleviate yourself of the high fashions of Aslan before joining your family, why?" And contained within the package is a swirling potion of purple and blue liquid. "Your continued diligence is appreciated. Although trust does not come easily in these lands, I must ensure my desires remain unspoken. I have many enemies that would find no small amount of pleasure from ensuring I never have what I seek in my grasp. Your ignorance, though at times exasperating, ensures your safety. Be assured that none of your efforts have been in vain, my dear servant. Even when a particular domain holds little in regard to my personal interests, it may prove beneficial from an academic standpoint. Indeed, as ludicrous as it may seem, one can acquire valuable information even from one such as Kevin McElminster. Upon freeing himself from familial obligations, Kevin has become nothing more than a pampered child ruled by the shadows of his own paranoia. And without his family to guide him, he shall remain in this state forever. His very existence is a lesson for all who seek to sever themselves from their elders, for those who believe their own morals and convictions to be justified when in defiance of their own kin. I need not inform my scholar that such flippant disregard and abuse of magical tools to create such childish traps and illusions is abominable, a blatant insult to those who practice the art with the care and diligence it requires and deserves. If the McElminster house ever makes the mistake of arriving in my lands, I will ensure the little brat receives the welcome he deserves.
This has been The Wonderful World of Darklords. We have no affiliation with Disney or Wizards of the Coast. All music recordings used in this episode are in the public domain and were obtained through museopen.org. Titles and links are in the show notes. Dialogue for Yensid was written by Aslan Rex himself, who you can follow on Tumblr at Darklord Aslan. The Wonderful World of Darklords logo was designed by Haylight Jones. You can find links to their work in the show notes. If you'd like to support the show, look for us on patreon.com or find our tip jar on Red Circle. Thanks for listening.